The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Pollard streaks in. Touchdown. Parsons has sacked it. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Nick Harris, John Machota, and Kyle Yeomans.
It's a Wednesday edition of Talking Cowboys presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys. Welcome in to a preview of the Dallas defense and the Los Angeles offense as we welcome you in to the SWBC studios here at the Star in Frisco alongside Isaiah Stanback, John Machota, Nick Harris, who was definitely here on time, and
late.
Chris Beam in the back. Gentlemen, how we doing today? Why are you giggling over here?
Because Nick didn't know whether to walk in or not.
Yeah, you saw me at the door. I was like, well, they already see me, so I may as well walk in.
Let's get in here.
That's true. You like,
They can't see me.
You have like a
really
pause.
still.
I heard Beam laughing in the studio room. That's what made me like really walk in. I was like, all right, then I'm just going to get in here.
Whatever. No.
You always walk in.
Yeah, we were going to try and
I
sneak you
will
in.
start a show on time.
I respect that.
It happens. Yeah, but yeah, today is a good day. You know why? We're turning the page, not only to Los Angeles and to take
for
on
yourself.
the Chargers.
Just kidding.
I know. Yeah, no, honestly, I probably should speak for myself because I know there are a lot of Cowboys fans, deservedly so, that are going to hang on this one for a little bit of time. It's also a good day because the Rangers are in the ALCS.
Yes,
I just
sir.
thought I would throw that out there too. We'll see who they're playing. Maybe tonight, maybe in a couple days.
Oh, you know.
Seattle tried to upend it.
Seattle had a rough night last night.
Why is that?
Hockey season started.
It didn't start well, did it?
No, it didn't. We played against the defending
got
champs, and we got cracked.
You guys
But it's okay.
got cracking.
Yeah, the cracking got cracked.
Crack-a-lackened.
It's okay. I supported them. I was there.
was the
Late night.
final?
I was watching it. 4-1. They raised the banner. We gave them a gift. First opening night, Stanley Cup, raising the banner, all that stuff. You don't want to ruin that night for them. Just let them have it.
I will
We're
say-
kind people in Seattle.
I will say that there are two different ways that you can take the way that they raised that banner.
It was so bad.
And there's one side of it is it's super entertaining.
It was corny.
And there's a lot to it. But then there's another where you're just like, man, this just seems like really, man, I don't want to take a shot
Corny.
at any other sports leagues, but yeah, just like very below what you think for professional sports. But they had them skate up to a slot machine and pull down the lever, and then it went three straight Stanley
That's what
Cups.
they did.
It was
It
a
was
huge,
really
it was a
corny.
huge slot machine, and then behind it was the banner, and then so then it came up three straight Stanley Cups, and then the banner started going up.
I got to go see that.
There's a lot more to it.
I'm gonna have to look
There's
it
a
up.
lot more to it than that, though.
It was really the timing was bad on everything. The transitions were horrible.
It was very Las Vegas, though.
See, and a lot of the times whenever they do their little opens, it's very Las Vegas.
Yeah.
They're just playing up the glitz and the glam and the gold and the.
And they did all that before it, too, yeah.
They did all that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
doesn't
pulled the
shock
sword
me.
out of the
I'm gonna have to watch
of
it.
the stone, yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see people that were there being very entertained.
Wow, this is
It's
great.
just for some people that I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe I've been around good productions too long, but it was
See, and you haven't been to it.
For the production standpoint,
from the production standpoint, it was
for the
trash.
production standpoint, I'd kind of like to see the Kraken win a Stanley Cup because with their ownership,
Yes.
that'd be kind of
Well, have you? Isaiah hasn't been to a Kraken game yet.
In Seattle.
Correct.
Yeah.
Their production in Seattle was insane.
Yeah, I believe it was
Well, I
freaking
hope
tech,
so.
tech
Oh, it was
headquarters
incredible.
up there.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Better be.
All this
They did a
hockey
good
talk.
job. I know. It's baseball season, guys. All right.
Not for me.
Baseball season, hockey season.
Yeah, speak for yourself on
Yes,
that, too.
Sorry, guys.
Speak for yourself again, Kyle.
It's been a while since our team has been in the ALCS, but I'm just excited to be here. Let's dive into some news and notes, Nick. I mean, the Cowboys were off yesterday. Kind of another de facto off day today before things really get ramped up tomorrow and Friday, moving into the Monday night game.
Yeah, so nothing really came out of yesterday with no availability and whatnot. So I chose to look at a couple of big picture things for news and notes today. I wanted to start with Tony Pollard. I coming into the season, I think we maybe expected a little bit more production from him at this point, 5 games in. He had 2 rushing touchdowns against the Giants in week 1. Since then, he has yet to get into the end zone, whether it be running or receiving. averaging right at 68 yards a game. Do y'all expect more by this point? Already lost a fumble too. What's kind of y'all's take on Tony Pollard as the lead running back at this point?
I think he's fine when he's given the ball. They're just not giving him the ball enough. The fumble, you can't fumble. We already went over that over the last few days as to what led to that fumble. But he knows you got to protect the ball. That's anybody who's carrying the rock. But I mean, ultimately, he's not getting the rock enough consistently. We talked about how that affects this entire offense. Dak's ability to throw the ball, how you can open up the playbook, Tony Pollard's ability to have big splash plays. You're not getting the ball to him on screen, so it's just there's a lot of people being underutilized currently right now. And I think Coach McCarthy hopefully will dig into his Christmas bag and start pulling some stuff out.
Yeah, on that fumble, it's wild how that ball stayed inbounds.
Oh man, somebody had a joystick on that thing.
I feel like it's kind of just payback for how lucky the Cowboys got with their 3 previous fumbles during the season. To have Biotis recover 2 of them, McEwen recover the other. It was wild though how nobody's foot touched it. It didn't go out of bounds. Like just rode that sideline. I don't know. Wild.
It went to like the very edge too
Right.
before it was recovered.
Well, and if it would have touched any of those guys at all, because their front half was out of bounds and their feet were just hanging inbounds, if it would have touched even the slightest sliver of their foot, it would have been.
There was just legs everywhere.
Yeah, it was just flying. Looked like a kraken.
And that's why the Cowboys lost the game. No, it wasn't. Sorry.
Everybody paused, and then you made the joke, and then there was another pause. By the way, Tony Pollard, season low 8 carries and 29 rushing yards. So both season lows against San Francisco. He's had back-to-back games with fewer than 12 carries and under 50 rushing yards. Right now, Pollard is averaging a career low 4.2 yards per carry. Of course, last year he had 5.2. If you want to really look at the comparison.
Yeah, I guess more so for me when I was looking at what he's put on the table so far this season. We haven't really seen that explosiveness that we saw when he was more the complimentary back last season. Not to say that he can't still have it as the lead back. I would just like to see this offense put him in a better position to succeed here. I think it's more so a product of that rather than Pollard not being able to produce. Although I do feel there's a little bit of blame on both sides.
I was going to ask that question because a lot of the narrative around Tony Pollard beforehand was you needed Zeke to take the brunt of the carries, take the physical, the short yardage gain, take that. And Zeke was really good at that. Pollard can't handle it. That was the way that it was prescribed ahead of time or described ahead of time. Do you think that that's still a factor here? Because, I mean, fact of the matter is you look at his numbers and he hasn't had that home run yet. He's had some explosive plays. He's had the big runs, but he hasn't had the home run ball yet.
It is what it is right now in terms of offensively. Like I said, there's a lot of underutilization, and I just think that there's a lot to get to here. I think they've been very elementary in their offerings to date, and because of that, you're not going to get a lot of those big splash plays that you're accustomed to seeing. So you're not backing defenses up. You're going to keep a lot of people in the box. The opportunities just aren't going to be present, especially when we don't have the sample size. So percentage-wise, you don't have the chances because you're not running the rock enough. And then in terms of big splashes, you're not backing people up. So there's going to be more people closer to the line of scrimmage.
I don't think we had an opportunity to talk about it yesterday. This is the last news and note I have about Leighton Vander Esch and C.J. Goodwin potentially going on the IR. That's a big impact, I think, more so for Leighton Vander Esch, but still really huge impact on special teams. Obviously, C.J. Goodwin brings a lot in that department. Where do you guys kind of see both of those responsibilities getting filled in?
What do you think?
Well, with Leighton Vander Esch, I think they need to add a linebacker that's not in the building right now. I mean, it's just gotten too thin at that position. And I know people aren't going to like to hear this, but I think it's going to lead to a little bit more of Micah Parsons playing some linebacker. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that he's going to be their full-time linebacker, but I think he's going to get some more snaps there. Dan Quinn mentioned that the other day. So that's that one. I know that I know Isaiah's thrilled about that. And then with Goodwin, that's tough, man. I mean, because it's not just his play, but it's also the leadership he brings to that group. I mean, Jalen Tolbert's really stepped up in his role with the special teams, but you need some other guys to do that same thing now with CJ not being in there. So, I'm not sure.
Yeah, Noah Igbenogany was the guy who was mainly filling in whenever CJ went out the other night. So,
and he does have special teams experience from Miami, I believe.
Yeah,
so.
quite a bit, as a gunner. So, there's experience there, but I really like what Jalen Tolbert has also done as a gunner and being in that same role so far this season. I mean, we talked about that tackle he had during the Patriots game on special teams. It was huge. So there's a couple options you have there, but like you said, the leadership on the field is probably the thing that they'll miss the most from CJ.
Good thing special teams doesn't matter, right, Isaiah?
Yeah, of course not. It's only 33% of the game.
Yeah, it's only a third, big time stuff.
Yeah.
Is it really 33 though?
No. No, it's not.
Okay.
Not now. It's
It's like what 15.
Have a
15
bad kicker,
snaps
see how
maybe?
that goes for you.
well, okay, yeah.
No.
That's a good point. That's a good point. If you have a bad kicker, yes, it goes up to 33%. If you have a good kicker, I'm just saying by today's rules. I'm not talking about like traditional football, but today's rules, man. I'm gonna tell you this right now. A lot of times when the special teams comes out there, that's when I go to the bathroom. That's when I get a drink. There just is not that sizzle that there used to be with
For
special
sure.
teams, man.
But
There
however,
isn't.
You're talking
a lot of that.
I understand that, but I'm also trying to be realistic with the way the NFL is
right.
today.
In terms of
with
the
rules,
kickoff, yeah, kickoff.
It's because of the
absolutely.
rules. It's not because of the players.
But if
I'm
you
just-
don't, but there's a lot of elements to special teams that people don't pay attention to,
Yeah,
right? So
for sure.
obviously, if you don't have a good kicker, well, all of a sudden your field goal unit, there's a lot of people watching that, right?
Yeah.
Dallas has experienced that over the past few years, where people don't go to the bathroom; they sit around and see, did you make the? Okay, he made the field goal. Whew.
Well,
All right,
yeah,
good.
field
Now,
goals,
now I can go to the
sure.
bathroom. Okay,
I was speaking more in kickoffs.
No, it's kickoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, kickoff game
It
has
just is
changed.
not.
They've moved that back. But punt return,
Punt.
You
Yeah,
know, talking
punt,
about
yeah,
punt team. If you don't have good punt coverage,
Yeah.
you're going to stick around and watch that.
That's
for
where you're
sure.
going to miss CJ Goodwin.
That's where you're going to miss CJ
For sure.
a ton. So in terms
sure.
of people's abilities to be able to go down there and force those fair catches that you go to the bathroom on typically,
Yeah.
if you don't have that force in place, then guess what? Teams are going to start returning the ball. And if teams can return the ball instead of fair catching, there's a higher probability of them gaining more first downs off of that one play, or instead of them having the ability to score a touchdown off of that one big play, right? And if somebody has a punt return for a touchdown against you, the chances of you losing that ball game go up exponentially.
Yeah.
So there are, to your point, the rules have changed a lot of that dynamic in terms of kickoff, but there's a lot of other elements that are very important. And when those plays happen, right, whether you're giving up those plays or you make those plays on special teams, those usually change the whole platform.
Yeah.
So what Isaiah is saying is that now that CJ Goodwin is headed to IR, you better hold it. Just
Yeah.
hold it. Don't
Yeah.
even
I
go
will.
to the bathroom. Just
I will.
You hold it, you turd.
Man, those the kickoffs though, especially, it's just like I don't feel like I have to go back.
They need to move it back.
Yeah, I mean,
They need to move it back.
I just how much the buildup is before the game starts, and everyone's getting excited, and you just go out there and you're just like,
Yeah, they need to move it back. Was it like
Like-
35 right now?
Turpin's had like what, one return, two
It's
returns
just
maybe.
silly, man.
yeah, maybe a little
It's been
bit.
tough.
I don't know, I was going to the bathroom.
I think San Francisco was the only team that really pooch kicked it to the far side. They would always try and pin Turpin right in at about the 10, 15-yard line and then let him come out and take it. And I mean, there was a couple times where Turpin had one really nice return. They got up to like the 35, and then the other one was 20, 25, kind of right around where you would on a touchback anyways.
2 returns for Turpin so far this season, and then 2 for Dowdle, which I think both came against San Francisco.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I will say though, to Isaiah's point on the punt, when you did see because of, I don't think we didn't talk about Turpin though, did we?
We didn't talk about
injury.
Turpin, with his high ankle sprain.
Yeah.
It's looking like he'll have a chance to go on Monday, but I'm holding him.
So he got tackled on the Cowboys sideline. He immediately hopped up and was limping, and you just knew on the tackle the way he was like rolled, there was something wrong there.
Rolled up on.
So to your point, on that next punt return, when Deuce Vaughn was out there, there is a little bit where you're just like, he just got to catch it, because it's not a guy that he's not getting a lot of reps there, obviously in game reps and stuff like that. It's a big moment. He's got guys around him. No one's expecting for you to have this huge return. Just don't drop this football right now.
And then he had on the kick return,
he
right,
bobbled
where
it.
he bobbled it, but it was stayed in the end zone, so he was able to just take a knee.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple things we got to talk about with Deuce Vaughn, too, I think, at some point. But today we are previewing the Dallas defense versus the Los Angeles offense. And what the Chargers bring to the table, of course, is led by former offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. So, I mean, Isaiah, based off of what you've seen out of this offense in the past, with Kellen Moore at the helm, what can we expect with him now that he comes in with the Chargers offense? That, by the way, is going to get both Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler back in the fold this week.
I think you're going to get your DBs tested like you haven't had all year long. There hasn't been a team that is going to throw the ball as much as the Chargers are going to throw the ball this week. They are going to throw the ball good 40 times.
Most talented quarterback the Cowboys have faced this year.
Facts. Yeah, facts. I mean, most talented quarterback. I would say the most talented.
That's a good way to put it.
Most talented receiving core for sure. When I say receiving core, I mean receivers, tight end, and running back. You're going to get. I mean, it's a lot now personnel wise that you have to contest with. And then
You think they're better than San Francisco receivers wise, pass catchers wise?
I don't.
I'd say.
I mean, when you talk
number 2,
I would say yes, based upon the routes that they're running. Yeah, I would say so. Because San Francisco guys, they're not running complex routes. They're really not. Their schemes are relatively simple. Debo's not running routes down the field. He's staying close to the line of scrimmage. He's running quick little flats and things like that to stay close. It's
more of the
Brandon
scheme
Ayuk is
putting them
running.
in success.
Ayuk is running the routes.
Yeah.
Right, for majority of the time. So I think from that standpoint.
Now, do you think it would be the same for them? One hypothetical. If they were the super team and Herbert was their quarterback,
Ugh.
do you think the Niners would still run it that way just because that's their system? Or do you think they would open stuff up a little
definitely
more?
change. Herbert has a cannon.
He certainly does. He's fun to watch.
So I think that they're just going to be challenged in a different way.
Yeah.
I think they haven't faced receivers that are this large. These guys are huge.
Keenan Allen.
Okay, and then across the board.
It's
Josh
the biggest.
Palmer.
It's the biggest receiver
Palmer,
in the league.
Allen,
Quentin Johnson.
Johnson. I mean, these dudes are 6'3", 6'4" across the board, 200 plus. So these guys are large, so you're gonna have to deal with that. Then you can't get so locked in on them either because Eckler will route you up. So it's a lot, and Kellen Moore's gonna be in his bag. He's had a whole playbook ready for this week. Yeah, I mean, so you're gonna get his best. You're familiar with his concepts, which obviously helps, but it's going to be a challenge, man. It's going to be a challenge. I'm looking forward to seeing how our DBs respond, but this will be the most challenged our defensive backs have been.
They are 4th in the league in terms of average pass EPA. They are also 3rd in the league in terms of play action percentage this season. I mean, they play a lot out of play action. The league average is 22%. They play out of play action 29%. So,
And that's with Joshua Kelly mainly as the running back.
Not even with Austin Eckler in the backfield, who's missed the last 3 games. So, John, whenever you look at it, too, I mean, you talked about Justin Herbert. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I really do. I think he's fantastic. What have you seen from him, and how is he going to try and challenge the outside?
I just look at the last time that they played him and just watching him in general. Like, his arm is as strong as anyone's arm, and he can just make throws that, let's be honest, the Cowboys have been pretty fortunate with the quarterbacks they've faced up to this point, and he's just on another level with the rest of those guys. And then the fact of, like, Kellen Moore is very, like, quiet, mild-mannered or whatever. He's going to want to put up points against this Cowboys defense. There's no question that he's going to want to put up a big day against them. So the way I look at it, though, is it just for the Cowboys up front. I mean, that pass rush has to be there because if you give him time at all to sit back there and throw, I just think it's going to be a huge day for that Chargers offense. I'm not saying that that means that they're going to blow the Cowboys out or anything, but Justin Herbert's arm talent is just on another level. And if you get Eckler back, just the things that they can do in the red zone to you, especially coming off of what we saw, how the defense played against San Francisco, I mean, it could get really ugly. This is not any type of, this team, this Chargers team, coming into the season, if everyone's healthy, that's a team that's a Super Bowl type contending team. This is not going to be some light work here. So I think the Cowboys are kind of fortunate that they're getting an extra day, because, with it being a Monday night game, because they're going to have their hands full with him. I mean, he's really good. I mean, to me, I think he's a top 5 quarterback in the league.
Did you say you'd rather have the San Francisco 49ers receiving core than
Yes. Yeah, I would. Give me Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey,
George Kittle.
George
Really?
Kittle.
This is
receivers?
No,
You had said
tight
pass
ends
catching group.
and,
Okay,
and running
Okay,
back.
so take them out of it. Let's talk about receivers.
Just receivers.
Just receivers.
With Mike Williams?
This is the goalpost moving. No, I'm playing.
If Mike Williams is healthy, you mean? Or no? Okay.
I'm talking about, you could go with who they have out there right now.
All right.
Joshua Palmer, and let's take Keenan Allen. So, Joshua Palmer, Quentin Johnson, who's had 6 receptions so far this
I'm
season.
not talking about
really
what
bad.
they've done. I'm talking about what they're capable of doing.
Nah, give me the guys that have done it.
Tony Pollard hasn't done much,
give
but
me
you
the
know what he's
Niners.
capable of doing.
Give me the Niners. I'll
Quentin
take the
Johnson's a
Niners
rookie.
receiver
You have
group.
no idea what he's capable of.
I'll take the Niners receiver group over probably every team in the league except for like 2. Miami and Buffalo.
Dallas. Oh, what? I'm just kidding.
Maybe Philly.
Why? So, okay, let's take it step by step. Who is the best receiver out of this entire group?
Keenan Allen.
Deebo Samuel. I mean, really? I mean, we're talking about
they're
Keenan
used
Allen.
I don't know, they're used kind of differently, but
They
Completely
are.
differently.
But
I would give the edge to Keenan Allen.
I would.
Yeah,
I'll give you the edge to Keenan Allen.
We're talking about just receiver. We ain't talking about running back abilities. We're talking about just as a receiver.
Then I'll give you the. We'll give you the edge.
If we're talking route runner specifically, then yeah, it's Keenan Allen.
But then you go 2 Debo,
talking
3
about
Ayuk,
weapons.
4 McCaffrey, 5 the ball boy on the San Francisco sideline, 6. I mean,
Joshua Palmer.
I don't know. I don't 6 Joshua. I don't know. They have a talented receiver group. I'm with you, but I don't think it's more talented than the Niners.
If you count McCaffrey though for the Niners, I mean you have to count Eckler for the Chargers.
Yeah.
And he is.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
if you count Gerald Everett for the Chargers, you're going to have to count George Kittle for the Niners.
What if I count Antonio Gates?
You can if you want to.
Go back in history.
Well, we'll count Jerry Rice.
Yeah, that'll work. All right, when we come back, we're going to take a break from the defensive versus offensive preview. We're going to take a look around the National Football League. We're going to have John's storylines for the week. We'll get right back to it, though, because we've got plenty more to talk about in terms of Justin Herbert. Plus, Micah Parsons, how does he rebound in a way where he might actually have to step back and play a little bit of linebacker this week? When we come back with more Talking Cowboys right after this.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Black Rifle Coffee Company serves premium coffee to people who love America. When you drink Black Rifle coffee, you are directly supporting veterans, law enforcement, and first responders in your community. Black Rifle's expert roasters love coffee almost as much as Texas loves football, so it makes sense that America's Coffee partnered with America's team. Go online at blackriflecoffee.com and fuel up with the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys. That's blackriflecoffee.com to fuel up today.
Cowboys fans, after that move, we've just coined the term Rowdy Replay. Let's roll back the tape.
Okay, there's our mascot Rowdy cheering on the boys. And now he's on his phone, on his Bank of America mobile banking app?
Staying on top of his finances with his virtual financial assistant, Erica.
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive. Cowboys fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/can't stop banking.
Erica is only available in the English language. You must download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Member FDIC.
Welcome back into Dear Doctor, the show where I answer life's questions with an ice-cold can of Dr. Pepper. Sheila, let's hear from our next caller, would you?
Dear Doctor, my friend supported me during a tough time. But what's the right gift that says, thanks for being a shoulder to cry on?
Okay, this one's easy. I say give her a delicious Dr. Pepper. Nothing says, thanks, girl, better than a one-of-a-kind soda. Yes, any Dr. Pepper flavor will do. Now, just a reminder that I don't need to be a real doctor to know that Dr. Pepper is the one you deserve.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Welcome back into Talking Cowboys, presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys. This portion of the show is brought to you by Quaker Oats, a super trusted superfood. Quaker Oats, the official oatmeal sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Welcome back in with Isaiah Stanback, John Machota, Nick Harris. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Glad you're with us. John, we've got some national storylines or inside the building storylines to hit in terms of around the National Football League. What you want to start with first?
So I forgot that we were supposed to do that today. So we're just going to carry over what's in the rec. No. So October 31st is the trade deadline, and there's been a little bit more activity leading up to it than normal. I mean, that's still 3 weeks away about. And, you know, you've seen some guys like Chase Claypool, J.C. Jackson, who was it yesterday? Van Jefferson yesterday to Falcons. So you've seen a little bit of activity. And I know we can't talk about players from other teams, obviously, but I wanted to throw out to you guys, if you could add a position that would upgrade this current Cowboys roster, like a starter level player, not just some backup or reserve help, but a starting level player that Jerry Jones comes to you and is like, we can add a starting level player to one position on this team right now. What would it be? For me, linebacker immediately jumps out just because I worry a little bit about the Leighton Vander Esch injury just because it's a type of injury that, he's had before, and linebacker was already kind of thin. But then I also think, okay, well, maybe it needs to be someone on offense because this offense clearly needs a spark. So I was wondering where you guys went on that one.
Nick, I'll let you start on that one.
Yeah, I think linebacker is probably the easiest answer there. But if you force me to look elsewhere, safety would be interesting just because you could spin somebody down and then have a lot more presence of guys like Jaron Kearse and Donovan Wilson in that second level, and maybe try to be just a little bit more athletic in the second level rather than physical. Offensively, I thought about receiver, but the thing is they have Brandon Cooks, and I'm confident in Brandon Cooks if he can get the ball. I don't think it's necessarily a personnel issue. I think it's more so a scheme issue there. If you had to add a spark on offense, then maybe you add more of a physical back that can take a little bit of workload off of Tony Pollard to kind of reignite his spark a little bit. As we talked about, his efficiency so far this season hasn't been phenomenal, hasn't been bad, but it just hasn't been what we've seen when he's been more of a complimentary back. Those are probably the only two I would look at though right now.
You wouldn't think about maybe like a big physical receiver, like you said. I know you talked about the confidence level and Brandon Cooks, but you look across the board, you've got Michael Gallup, Brandon Cooks, CeeDee Lamb. You don't really have that big go up and get it receiver or the possession receiver that you've had maybe in the past.
I mean, they've shown that they can do it with Gallup so far this season. And he's been good doing it. So it's just about putting him in a position to do it more.
I don't think he's as high on the list as the two you mentioned. I think I would put linebacker, like a fly, sideline to sideline, fly around linebacker, then a physical, take the ball, take the short yardage carries, red zone weapon running back, and then I would probably say maybe a big time, like big bodied wide receiver to go up and get it.
I want a dog on the inside defensive line.
It's so funny because there's a specific player I was thinking of before you said that who they're not going to get, but it would just be funny or entertaining to see if they added that. But yeah.
What division do you play in?
The NFC West.
Yeah, okay. That's what okay.
Cowboys might be seeing them in the next few games.
Interesting.
I'm living in a fantasy world here.
Utopia.
I'm not being serious.
You're in a utopia for sure.
Could you imagine?
Anyway, half your team for that.
We're just having fun here. We're just throwing stuff out.
Exactly what we're doing.
Think you'd have to give Seattle that much?
It's a fictitious place.
Yeah.
I don't think Arizona would have to take that long.
Rainbow Land.
Yeah.
Yes. So a dog. So a guy of that caliber would be awesome. Yeah. If you had a dog in an interior defensive line and you couple him with, that's not to say that Osa and those guys aren't doing a good job, but I'm talking about somebody who is like crap. When offensive line step to the line of scrimmage, they see him, they're like,
Kind of like what you did this week when you saw Javon Hargrave on the other side?
More than that.
More than that? Javon Hargrave's
He's a dude. He's a dude.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
But he's
But
not a
I'll
dog?
take a Hargrave type of guy for sure. But yeah, you need somebody who demands the respect and attention of opposing offensive lines. And if you can get that, then you also have Jonathan Hankins in there. Now all of a sudden you change the dynamic of what you can do defensively. Because let's not fabricate it. The strength of your team is your defense. So if your defense isn't being dominant, then you're probably not winning ball games.
So when you say that, though, one of the first things I think of, because I think of this with college football too, when it comes to defensive tackle, just how many guys are even out there, though, like what you're talking about. It just seems it's so difficult.
You're not giving those guys up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Because you're really looking like today's football. You're looking for a guy who has to be just naturally born, the big type body dude, but then he's got to have athleticism to
Freakish
him too. Yeah, it
athleticism.
just can't just be just plug in and Gilbert Brown this thing.
Gilbert Brown was good.
No, he was. He was. Yeah,
Gilbert Brown was good.
Yeah, he was.
I liked him a lot.
He was. Kind of off of that, the other subject, I mean, I feel like this is one of the top things people are talking about in the NFL right now is just the way Brock Purdy played against the Cowboys, how that's elevated him and what people think of him as a quarterback. And because all these quarterback, or most of these quarterback contracts, aside from the one in Kansas City, are 4 to 5 year type deals, it made me look at the rest of the NFL and go, how many teams in the NFL have their quarterback right now that is their guy for the next 4 to 5 years? And I only got to about maybe 10. And so I was just going to go down this real quick, and you guys can just agree or disagree to try and make this as quick as possible. But we're going to leave the NFC East for last.
Okay.
Miami, I say yes.
Yes.
Buffalo, Miami, good?
Yes. Yeah.
Buffalo, I say yes.
Yep.
New York Jets, no.
Mm-mm.
Patriots, no. Pittsburgh Steelers.
No.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, no.
Baltimore Ravens, I said yes.
Yeah.
Cleveland Browns.
No. That's tough, though.
I don't think so.
Nothing else happens off the field.
No.
Clean everything. All right, so we're torn on that one. All right. Cincinnati Bengals, yes.
Are we sure?
Right?
No, I'm playing.
Jacksonville Jaguars, yes.
Yeah.
Indianapolis Colts.
I would say yes.
Okay.
Even with
the injury is a concern with me. If there's no injuries, then yeah, but no.
Because he's had multiple injuries and he's played in 3 games so far?
Right. He'll be all right.
Yeah, I guess the AC joint.
Just a little IR.
Just a little IR stint. Okay.
Yeah, AC joint's fine.
Houston Texans, I say yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tennessee Titans.
Definitely.
No.
Chiefs, yes.
Yeah.
Chargers, yes. So we're at, I think, 8 or 9 right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Raiders, I say no. Broncos, I say no.
No.
So that's 8 or 9. Hey, we're almost at 10. Now let's talk about the NFC.
Oh, gosh. We thought the AFC was loaded in quarterbacks, though.
Right. No, for sure. Absolutely.
The quarterback slate in the AFC is crowded.
Right.
The quarterback slate in the NFC is not as crowded, but it's also frustrating because of how wide open it is.
Yeah.
And how the performance has been to this point.
We'll go to the NFC West here. We're starting with the NFC. San Francisco, I would say yes.
Yes, but reluctantly. Just because.
You think that's San Francisco's guy for the 49ers for the next 4 to 5?
I don't. He hasn't been challenged.
Okay. Rams, I would say no. Because I just don't think Matthew Stafford has 4 or 5 more years
He
in
didn't
him.
have that left. No.
Seahawks.
No. I think they have a lot of confidence in Drew Lock. Honestly, whenever Geno left the game on Monday Night Football last week, Geno left the game right before halftime. Drew Lock got, I think, maybe a series in there. Just the way that the body language was there from Pete Carroll and that entire sideline, Drew Lock trotting out there, they looked like they were happy that Drew Lock was going to get an opportunity.
That's their guy.
Yeah.
So they like him.
I like Geno. I think they all like Geno too, but they also are like, they're grooming Drew Lock to be that guy. So I'm going to say no.
Arizona.
No.
Carolina.
He'll be released this year.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
fresh
that would put us at about 10, maybe 11 right there. I know there's some that we're disagreeing on, but 10, 11 right now. Saints, no.
No.
Atlanta Falcons, no.
Not unless something changes significantly.
You guys might disagree on this one. I say Tampa Bay Buccaneers, no.
No.
I don't know. There's just some, I don't know if it's just living down here, whether there's some hardcore Baker Mayfield fans there.
There are.
Vikings, no.
No, not at all.
I mean, Kirk Cousins has been there for a while. I don't know that they would go through another 4 or 5 years unless they had some significant playoff success with him. Chicago's a tough one. I just feel like with where they're positioned, with that having the top 2 picks in the draft, how do you not take a quarterback there? Yeah. How are you not taking Caleb Williams?
Yeah.
So I say no there. Green Bay, I think, is a no.
You don't think Jordan Love's the guy?
I don't.
I'm not convinced either. That's probably the closest one we've had, though.
Yeah.
That's probably the closest one we've had where it's been a no, but like it could maybe be a yes, but I'm gonna say no.
I know that they're insulated being a team that's in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Yep.
And I understand that there is they're owned by the fans, so maybe there won't be as much outside pressure. But that quarterback position in Green Bay is a little bit like Alabama football. I expect a good coach to follow Nick Saban.
Yeah.
That coach has to be so good right away because they're going to expect those expectations to be on that level. And you're not going to think as rationally as you should that, hey, it's going to be tough to follow that. So that's the only reason why. Jordan Love has to be very good for, I think, to keep that. Jared Goff, I do not think is going to be there 4 or 5 years from now for the Lions.
Really?
I don't know if you guys feel that way or not.
He's played really well.
He has played really well, absolutely.
And they've shown in the past to be just overly committed to
guys,
to quarterbacks for a very long time.
True. I would love to be wrong about this.
Yeah.
I would love to be wrong about this. But
I would say yes.
Hold on. How old is he? Let's take a.
He's only like 29, or 30 maybe.
He went in the draft right before Dak.
29. Wow.
Or no, he was in Dak's draft. He was in 2016.
Yeah.
He was the one in there and went to. Yeah.
He turns 29 on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he could be there.
All right, so we might be up to 12 or 13 there. Yeah. Okay. And then the last but not least, the NFC East. I think the Eagles, absolutely yes. Washington, no.
Oh, God. Here
Giants,
we go.
no.
Here we go.
Cowboys.
I'm
so we have one no.
I'm going to say no.
Oh, man. This one's close, too, though.
No, it is.
I mean, it is.
It is.
But you also got to factor this in, too.
It's 30.
Again, because if we're being fair and we're going about, like I used the Packers example.
Yeah.
It can't just be about what we think. It's got to be kind of what you think that organization would do, too.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at here. I think if you were talking about just pure, simple tape and performance, the trending is going down.
Yeah.
And so I would say no. But if you're, like you said, you're talking about the way that an organization rallies around the leader, rallies around a quarterback, I think I would still say no.
He would have to get to an NFC Championship game this year or next year.
No, or this year, period. You could even stop there, and it may even be in that conversation, depending on how he plays, getting to that point.
Yeah, if there isn't some sustained playoff success, I don't think it is.
Yeah.
If we have one more real quick, I just wanted to talk a little bit about your Texas Rangers there, because I think it is a little bit of it is interesting that, especially not being from Dallas, like it's the Dallas Cowboys are just, to me, it's like that's one of the top 2 or 3 things I thought of Dallas when, growing up. And to come down here and see that the Rangers, Mavericks, Stars have all been to the Final Four now in the last 2 years.
Yep.
And the Cowboys haven't been there since '95. I mean, that I just saw some people tweeting that yesterday during the game. That is glaring, because you listened to Jerry yesterday on the radio, and remember when he asked that question back at the beginning, like, would you say that we've had good teams? Have you said whatever? And it's like yes, and I don't know. He didn't say bad luck, but he said that when we've had those good teams, we just haven't been able to put it together and make that deep run or whatever. And I just don't think you can sit there and just say it's bad luck for this long of a period, because here's the other thing, and no offense to those other DFW teams, I don't know that any of those 3 are looked at as like, oh no, that's one of the top 2 or 3 organizations in that sport.
In terms of wins, maybe the Mavs, because they've won a lot, and a lot of that had to do with Dirk and what Dirk did.
Yeah.
But no, I don't. I completely agree with you. I don't think you're looking at the NBA. You're saying Lakers, Celtics. Not the Heat, because the Heat are terrible, and I can't stand the Heat.
Okay, Kyle.
Yeah, I'm looking
the
right
Heat,
at you.
Yeah, but that they're absolutely.
They're very.
There's
well
no
run.
question.
Did I miss?
I just have a Heat fan.
Oh, okay.
The Heat thing aside, did you say that the Mavs were like a top 3 organization?
No, I'm saying.
Okay, then I misheard this.
Win-wise, they won a lot of games. I'm saying out of the 3 teams in DFW, Stars, Rangers,
I was like,
Mavs.
Hold on.
That would be the one where you could look at and say they've had the most sustained success out of the 3.
Okay,
because they've won a lot. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying in the NBA. Trust me.
I was about to.
No.
We were about to have talking hoops.
I thought you were looking at me because I was going to throw a shot at the Heat. I thought you just knew that was coming. But it was coming. But yeah, it is interesting, and I'm happy the Rangers are in the ALCS. But I mean, even tweets yesterday when I was celebrating the ALCS was, well, at least one team can get there. So
it was interesting. If we're going to talk about big topics and that, it's kind of, you can't shy away from that.
Yeah, that's definitely one. But all right, we got to take our second break. When we come back, we'll finish up our defensive preview against the Chargers offense, and we'll get you ready for Thursday here on Talkin Cowboys right after this.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag & Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag & Turf, the official Ag & Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Are you ready to take coffee off your grocery list forever? Black Rifle Coffee Club is here to help. As a coffee club member, you'll get your favorite coffees roasted, packaged, and shipped to your door free of charge on your preferred schedule. Set it, forget it, and never run low on coffee again. Members also get exclusive deals on coffee, products, and discounts from partner brands. Ease your mind and let Black Rifle worry about your coffee supply. Go to blackriflecoffee.com to join the coffee club today.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys jackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, this segment is brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. This segment is also brought to you by the Dallas Cowboys Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan. Glad you're back with us. Isaiah, you had some stats.
Yeah, let me pull it up real quick, Kyle.
Yeah.
So
carry over what we were talking about in the break.
Yeah, get out of that Rivals.
He got game. All right. You seen He Got Game before?
Huh?
Have you ever seen He Got Game?
Yeah.
Oh, good movie.
Yeah.
All right. So, right.
Isaiah Shuttlesworth across from me.
Isaiah. All right. So here we go. So of the top 8 offenses in the NFL as it stands today,
top 8,
Dallas is going to play or has already played 7 of the top 8 offenses in the league. Let me go down that list. Miami Dolphins, they're on the schedule. Philadelphia Eagles, that's twice. That's 3 games. San Francisco 49ers, just took care of them. They're actually 3rd on the list. Buffalo Bills, yep, they're on the list as well. They're 4th offense in the league. Los Angeles Chargers, 5th offense in the league. Detroit Lions, they're on there as well.
Goff.
And the Los Angeles Rams. 7 of the top 8 current offenses through week 5 are on your schedule. One of those games is twice. So 8 of your 17 games is against currently the top offenses in the league. And as we talk about the Chargers are currently 5th in the NFL in offense. You just played San Francisco. San Francisco was 3rd. They're averaging 402 yards per game. The Chargers are averaging 388 yards per game.
Is San Francisco the only team on that list? I might have missed one that we have played already, that Dallas has played?
Correct.
So that means 7 out of your remaining 12 games are against the top 8 offenses.
And that concerns me even more when you look at the success the defense has had against certain teams. Look at look at the Jets, Giants, and Patriots on that list. It's probably like 26, 28, 32.
You said one more time?
Oh, yeah, where are the Jets?
Giants, and
Patriots on that list.
Oh, man.
Probably really low.
Yeah, they're down there. The Patriots and the Jets are in the lower 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
26 and 25.
20 are.
Yeah, that's tough. That's what concerns me. I just want to see this defense play well against a really good offense, and they have the next 3 games to do that.
The stat that I was looking at with this defense specifically is the fact that they allowed, of course, 42 points on Sunday night. They had a combined 41 points. I think a lot of people have seen that stat. They had 41 points allowed going into that game, and they allowed 42. But in their losses, they've allowed 70 points compared to 13 points in their wins. So, yeah, I mean, if your defense helps set the tone, you are in a much better spot. And it's almost like we talked about that at training camp, too, by the way.
This is probably a more alarming stat, right? Put things in context. I know we like to do that. The Jets are currently averaging 18 points a game. New England's averaging 11 points per game. Wow. Those are the 2 teams that you've played so far. Arizona Cardinals are averaging 21 points per game. That's your loss. And as we go up, the San Francisco 49ers are averaging 33 points per game, and the Chargers, whom you're about to play, are averaging 27.5, and 2 of their best offensive players have not been in the mix.
Yeah.
Not that you're supposed to have all the answers to this, but what do you think the best plan of attack is when you go against teams like that with your offense? Like, do you need to open it up more? Because there's the 2 schools of thought where also Mike McCarthy talked about playing, his offense to help the defense the other day.
But we know that, right? That's the West Coast offense is predicated off of that. But you have to run the ball.
Yeah.
And you have to play keep away, and you have to get first downs. 8 first downs in a game is not going to set you up to play keep away.
Yeah.
It's just not. It has to be better. It has to be what has been the few weeks leading up to the San Francisco game, where you were having 85 snaps on offense. Like, that's what it has to be. That's playing keep away, right? Keeping the ball in your hands. You can't lose the possession battle 37 minutes to 22. Like, that's not a thing.
Well, and a lot of that is predicated off of playing with a lead too. I mean, you got to get up early if you're going to have a chance to play that style of game, because this offense, I mean, say what you want about the struggle in the red zone and whatever it may be. Point of the matter, they can't move the ball down the field at will. They're not one of those offenses right now. They haven't been. So if you're playing from behind, I feel much less confident about what this offense can do playing with a deficit in front of them.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't wholeheartedly agree with that statement. I think last week was bad. I think last week was terrible, actually. Prior to that, I feel like they had been moving the ball relatively well, and I think they've
been moving the ball, but can they have the quick strike ability? That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah. So
if you're playing down by 14, I don't want a 12-yard or 12 play,
these
whatever
are
drive.
all different discussions, right? Can they move the ball effectively? They have shown that this year they can move the ball effectively by when you're running 80
methodically.
That's effectively, right? You're moving the ball. Now we're talking about big plays. No, they have not shown the ability to have big plays because they're running 3-step drops. So the offense has not opened up to that aspect where they can have those big plays. But sustained drives, they have shown that. They just didn't have it last week, right? They had 8 first downs versus 25. To your point, when you get behind, right, as long as you're within a score, right? Yeah. 10 points, right? A score. Striking distance right now, I can still stay within my offense. But as soon as you're down by 2 touchdowns, I can no longer stay within my offense. And now that question arises, can you have the big play ability? Well, you know that you can, but they just haven't shown it, right? And they haven't got to it. They haven't got to the concepts. They haven't got to the formations. They haven't got to
whenever they've tried,
things.
it's been disaster.
Yeah,
AKA
absolutely.
Arizona 49ers.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's where you're at right now. But all of that comes back to you have to be able to run the ball. You have to be able to run the ball because you're one of your best playmakers on offense. One of your 2 best playmakers is the ball carrier, right? The running back. So you have to get the ball in his hands. You're not going to throw the ball to him more than you're going to give it to him. So hand him the ball and let him do what he does. Okay. Off of that, your quarterback is best off of what?
Play action.
Play action. So everything comes back to the fact that you have to be able to run the ball because this offense is not made to drop back and throw it down the field.
No.
When you want to throw it down the field with this offense, it's off of play action.
That's the only time.
So I guess the one positive is that you do have your starting offensive line finally together, and the hope is that the more that they're together, the more they'll be able to get that running game going. That's, I think, the best hope that you have with all of that.
Yeah, I agree.
I think to have a running game that has to be really effective, it needs to be multiple. Do we need more carries for Rico Dowdle on this podcast? Do we need more? 25 carries so far this season. In comparison, Deuce Vaughn has 20.
I will say, I do think if they were
Deuce
running,
has not had a lot of success.
I do think if they were running the ball well and having success with it, you would have more possessions, you'd have more carries. I think that his numbers would be up because I don't think that they would just sit there and go, Tony's got the hot hand, let's give him 30 carries. It just hasn't even gotten to that level. Mm-hmm. I mean, what did he have on Sunday? It was like 8, I think, maybe, on Sunday night.
8.
So if you're getting to the level where there was those games where when Zeke and Tony both went off in the past, I think that there will be those times where if they're running it well, Rico will have, a 10, 15 carry game in there somewhere. He'll have to.
I would love to see that. 7 carries against the Jets, 6 against the Giants. That's the only time he's gotten above 5 carries in a game.
Yeah. He's clearly the player that you would see next behind Tony that you feel the most comfortable in that situation.
Yeah, and I was looking at Deuce Vaughn. I mean, 20 carries, that kind of shocked me, like just to see that he's had 20 carries. A lot of that is in garbage time late.
Yeah,
in the game.
I mean, 4 of your games have been lopsided.
Exactly.
And he has no running room when he gets the ball. So it's not fair to just look at his stat line.
Yeah, 2 yards per carry. So he's got 20 for 40 yards. And I've kept the stat in mind that we said right at the beginning of the year that Darren Sproles had his rookie season. He had only 8 carries per 50 yards, which is pretty impressive when you talk about 8 carries for 50 yards. That's 6.3 on average. But that's all he had in his first 2 years. The average is different, but also you got to look at the film too. You got to look at the situations.
Yeah. I mean,
he's getting opportunities in.
Dallas has the 9th best rushing offense in the league right now.
9th, you said?
Surprising.
It's not surprising when you factor in how many times they've run the ball. I mean, it's been quite a bit.
Yeah,
But for them to have their ultimate type success, like you're talking about, with needing the running game to get the play action game going, they might have to be like a top 5 rushing team.
I mean, they can figure it out. I mean, but in terms of preparation, for the Chargers, the good thing is they haven't ran the ball a bunch over there. They throw it more than they run it, but also they haven't had their dude in there. So that's going to be interesting. Who would you guys think? I know we got to get out of here. Last question. Who would you guys think has the top rushing offense in the league?
By yards?
Mm-hmm. Because you're asking,
Probably
I almost think
Miami.
it's like Miami. Yeah, like it's going to be some Miami type team because they put up big numbers. Yeah.
Philly's number 2. San Fran's number 3.
Is Miami not in there?
Miami's number 1.
Yep.
Yeah. Just because, I just feel like all their numbers are...
Devon Achane and Mostert, and now Jeff Wilson's coming back.
Yeah,
Go Mean
85
Green.
yards a game.
Whoever else they want to put back there.
Go Mean Green.
Go Mean Green. All right, we got to get out of here. Get on the phone lines right now for Nick Eatman and Cowboys Storyline, 888-855-2297. He'll love to take your calls here in a couple moments and talk through not only what happened on Sunday, but what will happen on Monday Night Football against the Los Angeles Chargers. We'll be back tomorrow previewing the Dallas offense. Do they have a chance to maybe attack this Chargers secondary that has given up the most passing yards per game in the NFL? Maybe there's a chance there for Dak Prescott and this offense to unleash some things down the line. For Isaiah Stanback, John Machota, Nick Harris, Chris Beam in the back, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long for Talkin Cowboys. We'll see you tomorrow.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!